Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and today we are going to continue working on groundskeeper, getting them ready for paint. So, as you may be able to tell by my unusually clean attire, I've been sanding this morning, still working on sanding out the cab, and my OCD's killing me because I'll be sanding and I keep finding spots other than on the roof. The roof I'm extremely happy with it. But I'm sanding other places and I'm finding spots I'm not happy with, so then I'm going back putting a little bit of filler in them, then I got to go through the process, yada yada yada. But I've got the roof sanded all the way down to 320, which is where I'll paint it. I just got to clean it up. Got this all sanded down. Got the back pretty much to 220, except for a couple spots. But over here, where I didn't do any body work, I ended up finding a couple of paint chips and stuff like that, so I filled them with spot putty, letting that dry, and then I found a dent here and a dent right here. So I cleaned those out good, slapped some more body filler in there, we'll let it dry, sand it out, prime it, sand it out, sand it out, sand it out, and then sand it out, and then it should be ready to clean up and paint. But what we're gonna do right now, while I'm taking a break from that, is I need some body stands to set fenders, hood, doors, all the little pieces on while I do the body work and paint them. Well, you can go to the store or go online and get body stands for 30, 40 bucks, something like that. Or you can make your own, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So, I have a friend that's an electrician by trade, and he had some leftover conduit, and he's better than me at bending it. So, the main reason I wanna make my own is because I'm a bit of a tall individual, and the body stands that you buy, once you get them folded out, they're only like, I don't know, maybe 2.5 foot off the ground. And it's just too low for me. My back can't handle all that. So we made these a little bit longer and a little bit taller than the ones that you can buy. And I'm gonna be able to put these together with just stuff I had laying around and he had laying around for basically nothing. I bought a couple of eye hooks and I'll show you what we used those for, but they were only like, I don't know, $2 a package, and I needed 2 packages, so maybe $4. And then some insulating, pipe insulation foam to put on there where the panels are gonna sit, and that stuff was dirt cheap too. So I'm gonna have easily less than $10 in this whole project. Like I said, you go out and buy them, they're 30 or 40, which isn't a piece. So I'm making 2 for 10 bucks. You go buy them, get 2 of them, you're gonna have 60 to 80 bucks in them. So this is about saving money, but it's also about making it more convenient for me, which I want them taller and bigger, so they're gonna be taller and bigger. So we started out with 1-inch conduit. I've got 4 pieces of it here, and the way we did it is one piece is narrower than the other piece so that they fit inside. Sorry about the camera, guys. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Anyways, they sit like that so that they pivot like on a scissor pivot so they can open. So I've got to go back over those and figure out which one's which, but 2 of them are 2 inches narrower, so they'll fit inside the other 2. And then we're gonna have to find out where we want our pivot at, drill holes, put bolts in, and then we're gonna have to put our eye bolts on for our chain that holds them from opening up too far. And then we'll have to put our pipe insulation on and clean them up. And once we get all that done, we'll have us some new body stands. So I'm gonna get set up, get the stuff I need, figure out which ones of these is which, and then we'll start slapping them together. Okay. I found out which one was the narrower ones and which one was the longer ones. And I took them and put the one inside the other one, so I don't know if you can see it or not, but we got the two of them in there together. I got them laying so they're pretty much flat. And I put clamps on them to hold them in place. So next thing I'm going to do is measure to see where I want my pivots to be. I don't have any actual measurements of what it's supposed to, where it would be on a regular one. So I'm just going to kind of wing it and see how it works out. So what I'm going to do is go from the top of the inside one down. Got about 42 inches. So I want to go, half of that would be 21. So we're going to go up 21 inches. Make our mark. And then come over here, do the same thing, go up 21 inches, make our mark. Now I got a mark on here. Now what I need to do is drill through both pieces of tube at the same time, make a straight hole go all the way through them. And that's going to be where our bolts go for our pivots. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, I got my holes drilled for my bolts for my pivots. Next thing, I got these eye hooks. I'm going to drill through up here all the way through both. I'm going to put these eye hooks in, and then I'm going to run a chain in between them and bolt them on with the chain in there. That way when you scissor the stand out, the chain catches it and holds it from over rotating. And you can set how far you want the top apart, how much it's standing up, how much it's laying down, by moving the links on the chain. So I got to drill holes through here, and then we can put our chains on. But first thing I got to do is put these bolts back in, or in, to hold it together, and then we can drill our other holes. Double nutting these so I can kind of lock nut them on there basically, so they don't come back off on me. our tape measure. I'm going to measure up 6 inches from where my pivot is. Both sides. And then I'm going to drill holes straight down through. I'll do the same thing on the other side, and we can put our eye bolts in. Okay, I showed you I had eye bolts. I went ahead with my die grinder and just cut a little piece out so I had room to get the chain in there. I could have just got hooks, but hooks, when you fold it and let it go and stuff, the chain will fall off, and I'm trying to keep it sorry guys, brain's not functioning. I'm trying to make it as maintenance free as possible. Like, I don't want to have to go and put the chain back on all the time because it falls off. So by doing this, there's a lot less chance that chain's going to be able to come out of there. These are plenty long, but it's what they had at the little hardware store here in town. So I'm just going to put them on there, I'll tighten them down, and then I'll cut them off. Now you see I'm putting them so they're opposing. That way when you open it up, they're both going to be on the inside. Like that. And I got some of this chain, and I'm hoping, I don't even know for sure if it's going to fit. So, oh yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to give myself a decent little amount of chain. I guess I can measure it out. I'm going to go with about a foot of chain, because that'll give you adjustment. You'll be able to lay it down further or keep it in closer, whichever you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and go with a foot. I'll cut this one, I'll cut this one, and then we'll be able to stand it up on its own. Okay, I got this pipe insulation. It's 3/4 of an inch, or 4 3/4 inch pipe. I was under the impression that it was split on one side, so I didn't have to cut it. Oh, there it is. It is split. It's just not completely. Anyways, these are 6-foot sections, and I need 4 pieces. So I measured this, and 36 is going to take it just into the bend, 36 inches. So that'll work out perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these in half. Right there. And this stuff cuts really easy with a razor blade or a razor knife or whatever. I'm just using a razor blade because all my razor knives are so dull I don't think they'd even cut this foam. So one of these days I need to get some new blades, I guess. But it's like that, cuts right through it. Gonna find our open side. Take it, put it over our bars. Now mind you, I told you I was using 1-inch conduit, and then I told you I got 3/4 inch foam. I didn't make a mistake, that is correct. I got the 3/4 pipe wrap so that it fits snug. And then I'm just going to take regular old electrical tape, put a couple pieces at the end, just tight enough to kind of pinch it down a little bit. And then that'll keep it from, hopefully keep it from moving and falling off or anything like that. So I've never built these before. I just know what they are, I know what they look like, I know what their purpose is. So just basing it off of that. And so far, seems to be turning out pretty dang good. And hour and a half that I'm going to have in both of these is way better than an hour and a half round trip driving to town to spend 60 or 80 bucks on a set of them. So same thing on this side. Just gonna slide it down on there. Put a little bit of tape around both ends and we'll call this one done. I'm gonna, once I get the other one done, I'll bring you guys up close and show you both of them. I ended up not using as much chain as I said because it would have laid them down almost flat. It's not what I wanted, so I made the chain substantially shorter, and we're going to go with it max width what it is right now and just see how it works. I've got plenty of chain, so if it ends up I want them to spread out further, I can just change the chains out. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and build the other one out. I don't need to really show you doing the same thing twice. So I'll build the other one out and then I will bring you in close and show you everything about it, and then we'll be done. Alright, I got the second stand all put together. They're both completely finished now, so I'll go ahead and show you what they look like. There it is. Got our foam. Got our little eyelets with our chains. Like I said, I shortened those up a lot. I originally made them 12 inches, but I wasn't thinking about the spread. Since I got it down here close to the pivot, 12 inches would have brought this bar like way over here. And it basically would have laid down flat. So I'm not sure how long I made this chain. I just counted it's 5 links on this chain. Depending on how much weight I put on this thing, I might have to upgrade the size of the chain, but for right now it seems like it's going to be okay. I went digging through my bolt bin, found some lock washers, so went ahead and, or lock nuts, went ahead and used lock nuts on this one. We'll see how the nuts on this one do staying tight. If they start coming loose, I'll go ahead and put lock nuts on those too, but seems to be exactly what I wanted. I think they turned out pretty good. There's one folded up, there's one laid out, and this fender right here is the donor fender off the parts truck that's going to be going on groundskeeper, and that's going to be the first thing that finds its way on this stand. And then I have the other fender as well, so I can set both fenders up, one on each stand, start working those. After we get the fenders body worked, sanded, ready for paint. We'll set those off to the side, put the doors up there, do the same thing. Once the doors are done, then hopefully by then this will be all completely sanded and done and off to storage in the owner's garage, and I'll be able to bring the bed in and have all this room to walk around, work on the bed. So I'm gonna get that fender set up, and well, both fenders set up on our new stands, and then we'll get some more work done. All right, well, I got my panel stands all set up, got my fenders on them. First thing I'm gonna do is go over the fenders and strip everything off of them. I'm taking the badges off, taking the fender trim off, taking the light out. I got to get all this adhesive and stuff off. And then this one, the paint's got patina surface rust on it. It's got a couple small dents up here. It's got a little bit of surface rust popping through. So I'm probably gonna sand this one pretty close to all the way down, but we'll see how it goes. This one, I just, the light's already out of it, and I got the radio antenna wire and the antenna piece, so that'll come off. Get it sanded down. As you might be able to see from when I just flipped this fender over, there's a bunch of dirt and mouse house and everything else in there. So I got to clean those out real good. And since I'm going to be painting this, I need to clean all these gaps and everything. All down in here and all in there the best I can, because if there's any dirt, dust, whatever in there, when you go and spray across that with the air pressure from the paint sprayer, it's just gonna blow it all out in your paint. So I'm gonna work this fender first. I'm gonna get it all stripped down and get the sanding on it to see how far I'm gonna go sanding. And I'll bring you guys back and give you an update after a while. All right, well, the owner of the truck stopped by for a couple hours and gave me a hand sanding. And we've got the cab probably 90% done. There's a few spots I gotta go back and touch up with some, or bring it from 220 to 320. And then I gotta pull all the plastic off the door jambs and the windows and feather in the edges there. But other than that, cab's pretty much ready. Like I said, he stopped by for a couple hours and then he had to go, and I started working on fenders again. I got this sanded down to 180. This truck's not gonna have body trim, so I gotta fill that hole, and we're gonna shave the emblems, so I gotta fill those two holes. We got a decent dent. I forgot to mark this one, but we got a decent dent slash gouge right there I'm gonna have to fill. This was just a little bit of bubbled up surface rust. I got it sanded back down to bare metal. We'll throw a little bit of filler on that. This here is just kind of a little dink. It's not very deep. We're gonna throw some filler on that. And then we got two dents here that honestly I didn't even know they were there before I sanded it. They're not deep. So a little filler there. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to straighten that out a little bit. And then we got a really tiny small little dent here I gotta fill with filler. First thing I'm gonna do is weld up them holes. In order to do that, I have to get all the paint off, so I got bare metal. So I'm gonna get something over here, a little wizard wheel or something, clean that paint off of there, bring the welder over, we'll weld that up, start working that. I don't want to do the filler before I do the welding, because then if the sparks are flying and getting the filler, they'll burn the filler. And you may not know this, but body filler is highly flammable. We'll start the whole dang fender on fire. So I'm gonna get set up and start filling those holes in. Okay, I want to get this down to bare metal quick, and I'm gonna have to put filler over this anyways, but I still don't want to gouge it up real bad. So I got a 100 grit disc that's already been used here on my little, I call it a wizard wheel, 90-degree grinder, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just going to take off the paint just right around the hole. And I don't want to grind on it a lot, and I want to be pretty quick about it because I don't want to get any heat in there. I didn't really get any heat in it. I got my paint cleared. We'll do these two. Alright, I got some paint down in the holes, like on the edges, and that's gonna make my weld dirty. These holes aren't, well, maybe this one, but definitely not these two. They're not big enough to like build a plug to put in there to weld in. I'm just gonna weld them up, and then we'll go back and we'll grind them back down, and then we'll probably have to put a little bit of filler on them to smooth them out, but it won't be much, and won't be a big deal. So I'm gonna take a drill bit. That one doesn't look like it has paint in it, but these two definitely do. So I'm going to get a drill bit that's just slightly larger than this hole and just use it to clean the holes out. Alright. Got those cleaned out. I'm going to drag the welder over here and we'll weld them up. Alright, got those welded up. Doesn't look like we warped anything too bad. It's obviously got heat where I welded it, with the heat around it's not bad. I'm gonna let that cool off for a minute or two. We'll come back and knock it down with a grinder, and then we'll clean this up again and we'll start putting some filler in the dents. Alright, I gave that some time to cool down. I'm gonna take my little grinder again and grind it off. I don't have the right arbor for these big discs, but these are the only discs I got right now, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to go, but we're going to try it. Okay, having that 3-inch disc on that 1-inch arbor actually didn't work out that bad, because you can't put too much pressure on it. Like if I went to push down on it, it just folded the disc up, so I wasn't really applying more pressure. So it actually worked out pretty good. Got those all ground down nice and smooth, and I went ahead and took the paint off everywhere that I need to put filler, just so we'll get a better bond, and we're going to be sanding it out anyways. So still haven't quite decided what I got to do to fix this, but we'll figure it out. So I'm gonna mix up some filler, throw down on those dents, and we'll see what it looks like after that. Okay, I got all the filler laid on it. I'm going to look at this bottom spot that I said I didn't know how I was going to fix and see what I can come up with, while the filler dries, and then we'll sand it down. Well, dang it, happened again. I got this bad problem where I say, I'm going to go look at this and see if I can figure out how to do it, and then I go look at it and say, oh, I'm going to try this, and get in the moment and do what it needs to be done and don't film it. And I really wish I would have filmed this for you guys, because the process I used worked really well and I think it came out awesome. But that spot here on the fender that I said I needed to figure out how to do, I figured it out, and I don't even think I'm gonna have to put any filler on it. I think I can just sand it, or primer it and sand it. These little wrinkles and stuff down here aren't from the dent. That's factory spot welds and stuff. And along with this crease on the corner, that's from when it was originally stamped. So I don't want to make that perfect, because that takes away from the character of the truck. But I'm going to try to explain this the best I can. And I know without visual aid it's going to be hard to figure out. But I could tell that these spots right here where it's bare metal were like this got bent up and it pushed that out, and it popped the paint off and everything, so it made it really easy to see that that was out. So I took my body hammer and I started tapping down on this, back and forth, tapping it down. And as I did that, I noticed this lip here started coming out, all the way out to about right here. And that's how much it took to get that down where it needed to be. And then this, it looked like the truck kind of came down on something, and that's how this happened. Like it folded this under and pushed this up. So this had a few dents in it, so I took a little paddle, I'll show you here in a second, but I took a little paddle die, and I was able to, because it was pulled out so far, I was able to get it in between the inner liner and the outer skin here. Inner skin, outer skin, got it in there, and I was able to tap around the low spots, and it brought it right out to where it needed to be. And then obviously we can't have it sticking out like this, that'd look goofy. So I just took my body hammer again and went along the edge here and tapped it back in until it was where it's supposed to be, and it came out pretty darn good. So this is the dolly that I used, and I was able to, it doesn't fit anymore, but I was able to get it up in between there and use it to straighten that metal out. So once again, I'm an idiot. I really would have liked to film that because it was cool and the way it came out and came back to what it was supposed to. And it would have been nice to film it and show you guys what I did and a different technique to do stuff. And I screwed up, so we're still letting this dry. Getting pretty close. It's back to room temperature, but it's awful sticky still, so I'll give it 5 or 10 more minutes and we'll sand it out. Hang tight. Alright, it's had ample time to dry now. Looks good. Got 80 grit on a small block. Go ahead and sand it out. Okay, as you saw in the time lapse, I got all my filler sanded out and looking pretty good. I had one spot that was a little bit low and I didn't want to mix up more filler just to fix that spot. So I just went ahead and slapped some spot putty on it. It wasn't, you probably wouldn't even seen it, but I did it anyways. So it's all sanded. Everything's nice and smooth. Turned out good, I'm happy with it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is throw a heavy coat of primer on it. And then I'm gonna let it sit overnight so I can sand it out. So since this spot putty's still drying, I'm gonna kind of primer around it just to keep moving forward. So I'm gonna go ahead and start shooting some primer. Okay, I didn't realize I was running out of primer. I only had one can and it wasn't even full. So I'm gonna have to get some more tonight and come back and put a good heavy coat of primer on it tomorrow. But so far so good. I just sprayed around that so I can let it dry up, and then I'll have to, I gotta come back and block the whole thing out anyway, so I'll just sand that spot real quick tomorrow morning before I put the primer on, before I finish primering is what I'm trying to say. But that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you guys watched it till the end. I know I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, but body and paint is a time-consuming process. And I'm trying to show different stuff that I haven't showed yet in the body and paint process. So if you guys are trying to learn something, or you're just getting bored watching the same thing, you'll pick up on something else. But it's kind of tough because it's kind of the same thing over and over again. So I'm gonna finish this fender up. I'm gonna finish up the other fender. Next video, I'll probably do the doors or the hood, and maybe even the bed. Hopefully I can get through all of those pretty quick, because once I get through those, then it's clean and paint. So time's running out. I've only got till October 15th and it's dang near September 1st. So we got to get going, we got to keep going, and this will get fun again once the body work's done. But thanks again for watching. If you're not subscribed, please do. If you are subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And please like, comment, tell me what you think. And I think that's gonna do it. So if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.